is up, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in, and tonight I am going to be talking about this big event happening tomorrow, and I'm going to have to miss out on it. It's called the Nintendo Direct, which is, everybody gets hyped up for a Nintendo Direct, which is Nintendo's a big announcement of what games are coming out. And they said in the tweet today that this is for this year, so that would be from tomorrow to the end of the calendar year. There might be some 2024s in there as well. We'll see. But before we do all that, I have a big announcement to make. Big announcement is, and a little drum roll please, I finally got a job! I finally have a job. That's right. I am no longer unemployed. Where am I working now? I am actually in training to become a customer service advocate at Backyard Discovery, manufacturing company that works with outdoor furniture like playground equipment, gazebos, pergolas, all sorts of good stuff. So I finally have a job. It's local. It's a full-time position. It is going to be a 4-day work week schedule once I'm done with training. Well, I'm in training right now, so it'll be Monday through Friday right now with training, but once I'm off training, I will shift to a 4-day work week, and I will only work Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturdays. One of those has to be a weekend day. So, yeah, I officially have a job, so I'm super happy, and I'm super blessed to finally find a position where I can go and do great and wonderful things for a lot of people. And that's what this position is going to be about. It's more than just being a call center. You're actually being customer service, but you're also going the extra mile for people. So I am super excited about this. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of training. But from what I've heard, it's nothing too terrible. So I'll take what I can get. So there you have it. That's my big announcement. No longer unemployed. I have a job. And with this, there are going to be some changes possibly coming to this channel. There's going to be less streams because it's going to be a really tough shift. It's going to be, when I'm done with training, it'll be a 7:30 to 6 p.m. shift, so I'm not going to want to do much after I get off work when we work those 10-hour days. So, yeah, super excited about this. Really am about everything here. So, but enough tangent on that. We're going to talk about some video games. So, been waiting all day. I saw the announcement this morning. I got excited and just kind of thinking what games could be announced tomorrow. So, but before we do all that, here's where you guys can find this video and all of my others on the platforms. So you can hit me up on Twitter at WillYork_23, Twitch Tuxedo28, and YouTube Will York. You guys can also hit me up on Discord with Raptor Champ. That text logo on the right side of your screen will guide you on your way to Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Discord. Also streaming on Facebook through 4 State Gamers, which I see one of you is watching from the group. So, hello person who is watching. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. So, big thank you to the lone 4 State Gamer group member who is watching my stream. You guys can also add me on Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and the Epic Games Store. Feel free to add me on all of those. I'd be more than happy to add you back. So, without much further ado, let's go ahead and discuss what I think could be announced on tomorrow's Nintendo Direct. So, before we do this, I do want to mention I will not be able to do a live stream reaction because this Direct will take place in the morning where I'm at work, and though I will be training, and once I am at work, I am going to focus on work. This is one of these jobs that's going to be, you're at work, you're going to be working. You're going to stay working until you're done for the day. So that's what this position's going to be. But when I'm not at work, I'm going to be here, and I'll be here for you guys. So the plan for the Direct is I'm actually going to record a delayed reaction and hopefully I will upload that to all the platforms. See if I can. I can get it under an hour. I will upload all those to the platform so you guys can see the delay reaction. This will probably be done either Thursday or Saturday. I don't know for sure yet. So tonight's a live stream, but the next time I do a video, it's going to be a recorded version. It's going to be delayed. So I'm going to try to go in spoiler free tomorrow morning. Of course, I'll probably find out a lot about the stuff during the day, probably during a lunch break. I'll find all that out. But like I said, this direct reaction, delayed reaction, is going to be a recorded video, but I'm going to try to see if I can get it uploaded to all all of my platforms so that everyone gets a chance to see how I react. So without much further ado, let's dive right into our little bingo spot. So starting off with Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom DLC announcement with release. I can actually see this happen. But for many of you, you guys have been playing this game a lot for the last month plus since it's been out. Been playing the heck out of this game. I was playing the heck out of this game for about 2 weeks, and then I just haven't gotten back to it. But this game is so much fun. It is so incredible what they've done with this game. I mean, if you had to decide Game of the Year right now, this would be the winner. Period. This would be the winner. This would be Game of the Year right here, right now. If you were in charge of if you were in the committee and you were in charge of picking out the Game of the Year, right as of now, this would be the winner. This would be the clear winner. So, and what better way to make it more of a winner when you add DLC to it? I mean, this game has a lot of potential. It has so many possibilities with this. There's always room to improve, and DLC could do that. So, I think DLC could be happening with this game, the way that it's popular, and honestly, DLC is an extra way for Nintendo to make money, as if $70 isn't enough, let's tack on another $20 or even $30 and get DLC on the board. So, I think DLC is very, very likely to be announced tomorrow. That's what I think. And remember, this is going back to the rumors earlier this year that after Tears of the Kingdom, there's not going to be much of a strong Nintendo lineup afterwards. There's not going to be much after that. So, and this could be one of those not much after Tears of the Kingdom. So, they put out a lot of work, they put out a lot of hype for the game, and the hype has paid off. It has paid off so well. So, that's what I honestly think. We'll get DLC announcement for Tears of the Kingdom tomorrow. One other game I think what's going to get announced, not a game, it's more of the DLC announcement, is the Mario Kart 8 Booster Course Pass number 5 out of 6. And from what I've heard, there had been rumors that the next pass is supposed to be coming out soon, according to Nintendo. There's a lot of rumors on that. It hasn't been confirmed. So, and we are approaching that soon period from what I've heard. So, I think it's likely we'll get the next Booster Course Pass tracks announced tomorrow in this Direct. One of the games they obviously mentioned when they announced the Direct is Pikmin 4. And of course, Pikmin 4 is the next Nintendo game to be lined up. 1 month from tomorrow, actually. And from what I've seen, this game looks really good, looks super awesome. It just looks to be so much of a game changer in the Pikmin series. And we haven't heard a whole lot of details about this game. Not a lot. The thing is, they said they got this done years ago. Years and years ago, they said they got it done. And last September, they announced it to come out in 2023. And in February, they had the final release date announced for it. Not much of details, but there have been a few details that have came out. One being, you get to customize your little Explorer this time. You get to make your own little Explorer. So how cool is that? That's pretty cool if you think about that. You get to be the Explorer in this one. You don't get Captain Olimar. You don't get Louie. You don't get Brittany or Alf or Charlie. You don't get any of the characters. You get to be your own Explorer. So how cool is that? I think that's pretty cool. And also another thing they kind of confirmed. Let me see. There's rumors about multiplayer. There was also, this one was confirmed about, there's a night mode, like a boss mode or something coming to the game, which that's a big first. Like, usually when you play a Pikmin game, you're not on the surface at night, but you could be. You can be in this one, so we'll probably get more details about that in the Nintendo Direct tomorrow. So, Pikmin 4 is definitely given. I think Mario Kart 8, that's going to be given. I think Zelda's going to be likely too. Unless it's, they save a DLC announcement for a September Direct. Unless they do that. But we don't know that. I never got around to changing Kirby's Return to Dreamland. Doggone it. Let me, gosh. Alright, let me see if I can do some live editing. So give me just a moment. Let me find out what I can do instead of Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. While I'm doing that, I'm going to go through the other games. So the other one is Persona 3 Reload Switch announcement. Of course, last week we got it was heavily rumored about Persona 3 getting a remake. What it is, Persona 3 getting a remake. And it's been announced for PlayStation 5 and Xbox. But there was also a lot of retailer publishing for Switch. And apparently also, earlier this week, or sometime last week, Atlus put up a Reload a Switch video announcement. So, I think it's all but more than certain that we're going to get, I think it's, it's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty certain that we're going to get that. So, alright. I believe I've made my decision on what game is filling out that spot. So if you give me just a quick little moment, I'm going to fix this up. Alright, so if you just saw the hot switch, yeah. So, I think we'll probably get a Square Enix Nintendo Switch exclusive. They have been known to do that for the last couple of years. We've had a lot. There's that Chocobo GP Racing, which that was recently delisted, now relisted without microtransactions. So that's a recent headline. And there's also been a lot of games that have been known to launch on Switch first before going to other platforms, such as the Octopath Traveler series and Bravely Default. So those were Nintendo exclusives, and now those are on other platforms. So I think we can, and Square Enix and Nintendo have they have a great partnership. They've worked really good together. Square Enix is well known for RPG series. They are well known for that, and Nintendo is a well-known console for having those. So it's something that works out really, really good. So, it's a great partnership. Keep it going. All right, second row. Cloud game announced for Nintendo Switch. I think that's going to be likely. There's always lots of potential for what cloud games could get announced for Nintendo Switch. Just don't know which one it is. And the thing is, a lot of companies are opting towards that cloud games. Like Capcom had a trio of them in the September Direct with Resident Evil 2 remake, 7 and 8. I know 8 got the cloud treatment, so I think there was one more. I think this year was a 4 remake. I think I know one of them's 2. I'm not sure. I don't know my Resident Evil. I've never played a Resident Evil game. I'm just not into zombies. So, anyway, I think it's likely we'll get a cloud game announced for Nintendo Switch. Hopefully that'll come tomorrow. Splatoon 3 DLC information and release. There is another part of DLC for Splatoon 3 that Hopefully that has been discussed lately. Nintendo says it's going to be a game changer. It could come out soon, so hopefully that will come true tomorrow because Splatoon 3 is still very popular. One of the big new rumors, and this was a yesterday thing. This was a recent headline from yesterday. So there is a new rumored of a new 2D Mario game that could be announced and released later this year. It's been so long since there's been a 2D Mario game released on a Nintendo console. Like the most recent one is New Super Mario Bros. U, New Super Mario or Super Luigi Bros. U, and those are Wii U ports on the Switch. So they just took those games from the Wii U and ported them over to the Nintendo Switch. And that was the games themselves came out about 10 years ago, something like that. So you can imagine if it's 10 years since the last game of an iteration or a series, it is time. That's kind of the generational rule. But there's also the possibility, but there's also the other example of games that have not had games in like 20 plus years, like Earthbound, Star Fox, and F-Zero. So just to name a couple. So, would I be okay with the new 2D Mario game? Absolutely, I'd be okay with it. I would be just fine with it. I love the 2D Mario games. They're a lot of fun to play. They are challenging, but they're still fun. Pretty much the same. Then we have our next set of games announced for Nintendo Switch Online. This could range anything from the NES, SNES, 64, Sega Genesis, Game Boy, and Game Boy Advance. Maybe they might drop a surprise and announce GameCube, which that'd be pretty cool too. And that could actually tie into some other predictions I have on this board. So, I think that's going to be a given. Our next set of games will be announced for Nintendo Switch Online, possibly even Shadow Drop. But there's one game coming out this week that is going to be dropped, and that has been previously announced. So that could debunk this, but I don't think so. And that is the Fire Emblem game coming out on Game Boy Advance for Switch Online. Never played it, but this is one of the games that a lot of people played when Roy and Mark joined Super Smash Bros. Melee back in 2001. So, I think it's likely we'll get the announcement for what games are coming next on Switch Online. Might be something great, might not, but we'll see. Next, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope DLC. I think this one's going to be a given because the next one is, I believe, the third one. And the third one is to have Rayman joining the game, which a lot of people got excited about Rayman joining. One, coming back on a mainline game in forever, and two, he gets to join forces with Mario that's not Smash Bros. But again, Rayman never got into Smash. So, I think that one's going to be announced tomorrow, and also, I believe the Rayman footage was shown off on the Ubisoft Forward. I have not watched that yet. I have not watched the Ubisoft Forward, but I did see a clip of Rayman interacting with the Rabbids, which he does have history with the Rabbids in previous games. Next, third line down. This one's probably not going to happen, but you never know. As Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC release and details, back into February, Pokemon Presents, they did announce that DLC was coming to both games. First is set to release in fall of 2023, and then the next one is winter. So, the only reason I don't think this is going to be in the mainline direct because Pokemon does their own thing. But also keep in mind, this is June. And usually around the time of a Nintendo Direct, we get a Pokemon Presents. Usually around that time. So, and Pokemon's got some stuff coming out in the next month or so. They have their Pokemon Sleep app ready to be released, or getting ready to be released, and the Pokemon Go Plus Plus little controller thing. So, that's coming out on July 14th. So, I mean, the possibility we could get more DLC information, we could get revealed in this Nintendo Direct, or I think that's more likely for Pokemon Presents. And that could come next week, but the only issue about that is a new first-party game is coming out next week. I'll get to more on that in just a moment. The obvious Nintendo Switch Finger Snap, obviously. Free Spot, yes, obviously. This is the other big, this fourth one, this is another big one. And this one's been rumored as well. Apparently there's a rumored Super Nintendo game that is being remade, and that could come out in the holiday season. There's always a lot of possibilities about what game this could be. I've heard it could be Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. It could be Chrono Trigger. I don't know. But that could also tie in with Square Enix Nintendo Switch exclusives. It could be. Don't know about that. I don't know about that. But if it's Chrono Trigger, that'd be very interesting. One, Chrono Trigger right now is one of the most expensive games on the market. It is crazy expensive. And I think Super Mario RPG gets a nice, it's pretty expensive too. So, the possibility of that game being remade would be pretty good. It's Nintendo, but it's also Square Enix, which used to be Squaresoft. And there's lots of characters from Square Enix that makes them Square Enix characters, but the majority of the characters are the Nintendo ones. So, it's a possibility it might be a remake of Super Mario RPG, or Super Mario RPG could be coming to Switch Online. I don't know. From what I've heard, there's lots of rumblings about that, so best way to find out, tune in tomorrow. Next one, a new Mario baseball game for Nintendo Switch. This has been heavily rumored earlier this year, and now the rumors are going to start picking up again because of a recent event. So, for as many of you didn't know, and I didn't know this either, Nintendo owns a 10% stake of the Seattle Mariners baseball team. Now, that's pretty cool. But that also explains why Ken Griffey Jr. has heavily endorsed for promoting games on the 64 and the Game Boy back in the day. But during the weekend broadcast of the game, they were showing a Nintendo logo. It was red, like where you can see from the pitcher's mound. If you see the pitcher and the batter, you can see the little screen on the bottom. You see the Nintendo, and you also see Mario with a baseball bat, but it looks like it's a different render. So this could be a new Mario baseball game for the Switch. I would be so stoked for that. I love Mario baseball. I do. I played the heck out of Mario Baseball Superstars, and then I've also tried Mario Super Sluggers, which that one's not too bad. That one's not bad. But I like the Mario Baseball Superstars, so I like that one. And then, let's see. I think the fourth one, mini trailer game shown off. Everybody 1-2 Switch. I think that's going to get shown off tomorrow. The game comes out next week. This was also an announcement made way earlier this month. Just when the month started, they announced this game coming out on the 30th. Like, wow, you only announced this game and it comes out in 4 weeks? And I saw a video a while ago showing what this game could be about. So mostly it's going to be mini games. It's going to be mini games. And it's a lot of different iterations. One, you can use your smartphone as a controller for this game. Like, what are you doing, Nintendo? And also, apparently you can play with up to 100 people. I'm like, can the Switch really handle that? Can the Switch handle 100 players? Apparently they can. Apparently they can if they're planning on releasing it next week. And since it's a first-party game, so you would think $60. But it's actually being retailed for $30. I'm like, really? So I think you're getting it on the same level as the Game Builder Garage. Game. So, not sure how this one's gonna feel for this one. I've never played 1-2 Switch. I don't know if I'm gonna play this one. I don't know if I am. Alright, next one, unexpected Switch port. You never know what's gonna be announced for Nintendo Switch. It could be a port. Anything. If I had to pick the most likely unexpected Switch port, I got to pick Stray. Gotta pick Stray for that. Big hit. If you don't know what Stray is, you get to play as a cat in a cyberpunk setting. Future. The game was a big hit on PlayStation 4 and 5. And it's also developed by Annapurna Interactive, which is an indie studio. And they're actually they're good partners with Nintendo too. So, kind of wondering, how are you gonna, can you port this game natively, or is this going to be a cloud? I doubt it's going to be a cloud, because it is an indie studio. It's an indie studio, so I doubt it's going to come as a cloud. But the thing is, the game came out in late last year, and most games usually have to be, if they want to choose to be exclusive, it's about a year or so to get exclusive, and then you can be ported onto other systems. And the reason why you would port onto other systems so that they can get to play your game. So it's not about, usually when it's at the consoles, it's never usually about exclusives. It should never be about exclusives. It should be about how you develop the game and where you're going to put the game on, and then how people can actually play the game. So that's what I think. The one last announcement is going to be a given. Hollow Knight Silksong. They say it's going to come out this year. Don't know. Haven't heard much rumblings on that one. It is a highly anticipated game. It is highly anticipated. So it could get shown off. Might not. Who knows? And a new game demonstration. It could be something for a game that we haven't seen much or get new announced. Something. Don't know about that. This one I'm really hopeful for. Line 5, Row 2, or the Square 2. The Twilight Princess Wind Waker ports. These have been heavily rumored for quite some time. And not just any of the classic games. HD remasters is the rumors. I mean, the ones that were on the Wii U. Apparently, those were rumored to come out on Switch at some point. It was so heavily rumored. It was supposed to be announced. It was rumored to be announced in the September Direct, and it didn't. But with Tears of the Kingdom out of the way, we could finally get these two available on Switch. However, Battletoads remake, please, no joke. Thank you, Facebook user. Well, that's gonna be kind of tough for Battletoads, because that's a rare property, and that is a Microsoft thing going on. So that's gonna be kind of tough to do Battletoads, but don't get it wrong. I mean, a Battletoads remake would be pretty sweet. That'd be pretty cool if Microsoft and Nintendo teamed up for for a remake of this. That would be pretty cool. I would agree. I mean, it'd be nice for a Battletoads remake. They actually just came out with one a couple of years ago, a new Battletoads game. So, that's a Microsoft thing to do. But Microsoft is not afraid to put their games on Nintendo Switch, because Nintendo's big in Japan where Microsoft is not. Microsoft is mostly popular here in the United States. They're not as popular in Japan. So you kind of wonder why you got some of the Microsoft exclusives on Nintendo Switch, like Cuphead and Ori and the Ori games. You've had those start out as Microsoft exclusives, and now those are on Nintendo Switch, because Microsoft knows if they want people to play their games, they gotta try to reach out as many people as they can to play their games. So, I mean, I love the idea about a Battletoads remake. Also, I believe Battletoads was out on the NES. I don't remember an SNES version of the Battletoads. I know there was a version on Game Boy. I don't know about SNES. I can easily do a quick Google search. Let's see if I can, let's see. There's Battletoads and Battlemaniacs. Yeah, the first Battletoads game was for the NES. So, yeah, sorry. Just did a little research. It came out on the NES. But like the rumor was a Super Nintendo, an SNES remake. That's the rumor right now. So, anyway, sorry to burst on your bubble a little bit, Facebook user. I'll probably find out who you are in a while. I apologize for that, but yeah, it would be cool to see a Battletoads remake, but I just don't think it's likely. For one, it's not an SNES game. It's not that, and two, it's a Microsoft thing because they own the company that developed Battletoads, which is Rare. So, I apologize. I just don't think that's going to happen. But hey, I do appreciate the chat, and that gives me a good chance to explain the knowledge a little bit too. Alright, so moving on, I was talking about Twilight Princess, Wind Waker ports. I think those could be likely. However, I can also think they might be likely if the GameCube gets added to Nintendo Switch Online. I mean, that could be the next set of games that could be announced for Nintendo Switch Online. They'd be like, hey, we're going to add GameCube and all that. Rock and Roll God 16 on YouTube, thank you for the comment. Some new Pushmo content would be sweet. I've never heard of Pushmo. Could you explain that a little bit about that to me? Some Pushmo. I do not know what that is. I honestly don't know what Pushmo is. If you would be kind to please let me know in the chat what is it. So yeah, I was mentioning about GameCube. Could be coming to Switch Online. Maybe if that's part of the next set of games announced. That would be pretty sweet. But if you're gonna do a GameCube remastered like they did with Metroid Prime, it's just gonna be standalone games. But if you release Twilight Princess and Wind Waker as a duo set, that would be really sweet as well. That would be super sweet as well. So yeah, it could be likely, but you don't know. You never know what to expect in the Nintendo Direct. You never know. Next, Sonic Superstars gets shown off. This was announced on the Summer Game. Let's see. Alright, yeah. I guess you're answering my, what's the Pushmo? Okay. 3DS puzzle game where you pull out blocks in order to climb to the top. Configurations of block always create some picture. Okay. So this is from the 3DS. Okay. I could kind of see that a little bit. I mean, I could see we might get something now that could be very, very unexpected. For one, we got a Miitopia remake for Nintendo Switch a couple years ago, and that was unexpected, and that game was also on the 3DS as well. You got a good point. You got a very good point, Rock and Roll God 16. You got a good point with that. I could see that happening. Like I said, I've never played Pushmo, but I mean, if it's a 3DS game and it's Nintendo, that could be a very likely unexpected Switch port or a remaster. That could be very, very unexpected. So that's a good one. That's a good one, Rock and Roll God 16. I'll give you kudos on that one. I will give you kudos on that one. So, Sonic Superstars, I think it has been confirmed for Switch. They showed it off at the Summer Games Fest event a couple weeks ago. It's just going to be like it's a new 2D Sonic game, and it's got 3D graphics. Looks fun to watch, but personally, I like Sonic, but just not much into the games these days for the Sonic franchise. Yeah, I think this could be that might actually be a good one for Switch for a lot of good Sonic fans. I think that's going to get shown off. This one could be announced. I don't know, because they really don't show off amiibos much on the Direct. The Sora amiibo announcement was released, so if you guys keep track of the amiibos, they have been doing the Super Smash Bros. DLC amiibos for years, and there's only one left. After Pyra/Mythra, which comes out on July 21st, the same day as Pikmin 4, we only have one left, and that is Sora. So, but the other question is Sora going to be a DLC, or going to be an amiibo? We don't know, because Sora is a Square Enix character, but he's also a Disney character. So we don't know if Disney would be okay with putting Sora on an amiibo. We don't know. But apparently they were okay with him in Smash. Like Disney had, from what I've heard, Disney had no issues with Sora in Smash. Disney had no issues. It was more of the creator putting Sora in Smash. But I think it's obviously we're going to get Sora amiibo. I'm pretty much hopeful for that. Really hopeful for that. But there has been no unofficial announcement regarding that. So we'll have to wait and see if they actually announce that tomorrow. But the thing is, they don't normally announce amiibos unless it correlates to a game that's coming out. Like Pikmin 4. They didn't announce any amiibos, but they could. They could also be announcing any first-party games coming out later this year and have an amiibo that correlates with that. And amiibos are actually about 10 years old, so ever since they've been introduced about 10 years ago, amiibos have really hit the market. I mean, a lot of people collect them to play with them. They collect them because they find value in them. And for people like me, I just like to watch them fight. So, hopefully soon I will get back to the amiibo tournament. I'll have to play things different with the new job and balancing things out. So I'll have to worry about that in the future. So, my main goal is to get the job learned and to do it right. So, and then finally, number 5. This is probably my favorite rumor out of all of them, and that's Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door Remastered. There had been rumors about this one getting the Metroid Prime kind of treatment, the remaster. It could happen. I think it could happen. For one, 3DS Rock and Roll God 16 on YouTube says the 3DS introduced many new IPs that could find new life on Switch, and I totally agree with you. I really do agree with you on that. There's just so much possibilities, and especially now since the 3DS is closed, the only way you can really get games on the 3DS is if you mod it, which I'm not a big believer in modding hardware. I believe in the true original format. But I do like emulators, I'll tell you that. I do like emulators, but only to a certain limit, I would say. But yeah, I totally agree with you. The 3DS introduced many new IPs that could find new life on the Switch. I would agree with you on that. There's always lots of possibilities, and the thing about Nintendo is that they're the kings of left field. You don't know what to expect. You never know what to expect. There are always going to be 1-2 big announcements that could happen, and it just shocks the world. It blows the mind. And you know what? This Paper Mario Thousand Year Door Remaster, that could be one as well. For one thing, it's really hard to get the game on GameCube. I mean, you'd be spending almost $200 just to get an authentic copy of the game on GameCube, which is crazy expensive on today's standard. Also, this game has not seen a re-release ever since it came out almost 20 years ago. Next year's the 20th anniversary of the game. Wouldn't it be awesome if we got Thousand Year Door Remastered just in time for the 20th anniversary of the original game? That would be cool. But it's also not the only GameCube game that's rumored to get the remaster treatment. F-Zero GX is also another one that could be remastered and released. But maybe these two remasters, and maybe the Twilight Princess and the Wind Waker ports, or the games, which those four were all GameCube games. What if they're being remastered? They did all four being remastered, and you put them on Nintendo Switch Online. I mean, hear me out on this. I mean, maybe Nintendo Switch Online is going to get the GameCube support. That could be announced tomorrow. That would be a big game changer. I mean, you probably get those four games, and I would think that it could be a shadow drop. I mean, they did shadow drop Metroid Prime Remastered, but the thing is, I mean, you'd shadow drop Metroid Prime Remastered, which that was heavily rumored for years. You'd shadow drop that on the day of the February Direct, and you charge $40 for it. Which, that's not bad. If they do that for the other games, of course, if they do that for Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, if they do that, if they charge $40 each, that's more money to Nintendo instead of a double pack. I would go with that. Thousand Year Door, absolutely would go for that. I mean, it's better than paying, like I said, it's almost $200 for Paper Mario Thousand Year Door on GameCube, and Twilight Princess is going for like $100, or it depends on, I think the Wii U version is going for over $100, and Wind Waker HD is going for almost $100 right now, which is, they're crazy expensive. But if Nintendo hears the fans out about these, about taking these old games and putting them into current current hardware, then everybody wins. Nintendo makes money, people are happy, people buy games, therefore people are happy. And that's what Nintendo wants. People to be happy and to play their games, not resorting to emulation. Nintendo, of course, is a huge... They're just not big into the emulation. They say it hurts businesses, which, you know, I mean, on a business side, I can kind of see that. They say that the emulation, it hurts business by costing the money, the developers money. But the thing is, you're just basically taking a copy of a game and you're putting it on a system that can play it. You're preserving that game by playing it. But I'm not really going to go into the whole logistics of emulation. I'm really not. But, I mean, if all of this comes to fruition tomorrow, I mean, that could really prove this is a light second half for 2023. But there are some heavy hitters in here. There are some heavy hitters in here that could do really good, and it's just DLC. That's the thing. Some of these heavy hitters in here just be DLC. Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Kart 8 Booster Course 5, Splatoon 3, just to name a couple. Just to name a couple of games that, you know, lost my train of thought. You know, that could be part of that light, and Pikmin 4 being the big one for could be the last big game of 2023 for Switch. And of course, there's always a lot of rumors going around about this could be the final year for Switch, and next year we could get new console hardware. I mean, for the time and lifespan of the game consoles are averaging 5 to so years, I'd say it could be time for a new console. I'd be okay with the new console under a few conditions. One, this is my super one, my biggest one, is backwards compatibility. Make it compatible to play physical Switch games. Make it backwards compatibility. That's one of the big things that big game console companies are doing these days. Well, not as big these days, but back then, backwards compatibility is a must. I mean, again, with backwards compatibility, you're allowing players to get into retro games and be able to play those on newer systems that can play those games. So, if you're going to take a Nintendo Switch, you know, they have the little tiny cartridges, make your new system Switch compatible with maybe a bigger slot, probably about the size of a little rectangle, little size of that, and a small piece that's a slot that's small enough to put a Switch game in. Or, hear me out, make a Switch version that's bigger with a way bigger slot, have 2 slots, one for your new hardware and one for Switch, so that it can too play Switch games. And maybe not just physical games, digital as well, because, but then again, if we had that, we still have 3DS and Wii U for Switch, and we don't. So, anyway, these are all my picks course, like I had mentioned earlier, I am not going to be live stream reacting to this tomorrow. I will not be able to. I will be at work learning and trying the brain out as I learn. So this is gonna, like I said, what I'm gonna do. I'm going to record a video, delay reacting to it, and it is most likely going to be done Thursday night, uploaded, and I'm going to try to upload it to all of the consoles. So, these are my picks, and I'm gonna stick with them. So I think this is a pretty good list, and I'm always trying to make the list based off of the rumors, the rumblings, anything that's going on for video games, and I think this is a pretty good solid list. I've only had one bingo since I did Nintendo Direct prediction videos, and I've only done one, and I've gotten one right. I think I've gotten close the last couple of times. So yeah, these are my picks, and I'm going to stick with them. Like I said, not all of them are going to be correct. I don't think we're going to see Pokemon. Anything else here, I think we are going to see, but Pokemon, I don't think that's going to get announced tomorrow, because Pokemon does their own thing, but maybe next week we could get a Pokemon Presents, because usually whenever there's a Nintendo Direct, there's a Pokemon Presents that happens pretty much soon afterwards on that. But like I said, next week is when Nintendo has a first-party game coming out, and we'll probably learn more about what Everybody Want to Switch tomorrow, and that comes out next week. So, like I said, these are my picks, and I'm sticking with them. So, big shout out to the Facebook user who commented about Battletoads. Like I said, I just don't think that's going to happen. It would be cool. I will admit it would be cool to have that, but unfortunately, like I said, Microsoft owns the IP, and Battletoads was originally released on NES and Game Boy. And also, thank you, Rock and Roll God 16 on YouTube. Thank you for your helpful comments. I can actually see that being possible in a Nintendo Direct. To be something way out of left field for Nintendo, and it is Nintendo IP, so Nintendo could try to bring that back, maybe pull off a Miitopia. Could happen. So, big shout out and thank you to those who have commented tonight. So, I'm just about out of breath tonight, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching, whether you're watching live or catching the replay. You can find this video and all of my others on the platforms, I should say. You can hit me out on Twitter at WillYork_23, Twitch Texito28, and YouTube Will York. You guys can also hit me up on Discord through Raptor Champ, and that text logo with the circle will guide you on your way to Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Discord. You can also join up on Facebook through 4-State Gamers. Make sure you answer all the questions, because I can't just take anybody. I want to make sure you do this group. You gotta do it right. You gotta be from the local area, and do not lie. Please do not lie to this group. That is my baby right there. That is my baby right there. So, anyway, 4-State Gamers is where you want to go for Facebook stuff, and I share Nintendo and a lot of video game news pretty much all of the time. So, you guys can also add me on Nintendo Switch with the Switch friend code right there. You can also add me on Xbox, PlayStation, and Epic Game Store if you want to do some Fall Guys. Hopefully trying to get back into more streams soon, now that I officially have a job where I can go and where I can, I can finally earn money, where I can actually get some streams going. So, this turned out to be a pretty good stream. Had a good few commenters tonight. So again, thank you to the Facebook user on Facebook, and also on YouTube. Thank you to Rock and Roll God 16 for your comments tonight. Like I said, I'm going to record the Direct, and that will probably be done on Thursday. But after recording, I will try to upload it for all the channels and set it as a premiere, and hopefully keep it down. Keep the data down to a small minimum where I can be able to upload it. So, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Be back with more streams soon and the next Smash Bros. Amiibo tournament. I might just go ahead and think about including Pyra/Mythra in the next Amiibo tournament. Might think about that. So, anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Hope you guys have a great, wonderful evening. I will catch you all on the flip side. Have a good one, guys.